This is the Toothbrush Design Challenge exercise from TeachingEntrepreneurship.org. We presented this at the USASB 2019 Excellence in Entrepreneurial Exercises competition, and it ended up winning first place. So we thought we would create a little overview video so you know exactly how and why you might want to run this exercise. The goals are twofold. One, it's to give your students the experience of making hidden and most likely invalid assumptions. And based on that experience, they will understand why exactly it's so important that we go out and validate our assumptions when we're creating new products or new business models. So you're going to have your students form teams of 3 to 4 students to start off with, and then you're going to give each of those teams a toothbrush and the assignment of designing a kid's toothbrush. Their design should include 2 elements. One, a color scheme, so they get to pick the colors of their toothbrush. This is really a red herring. We don't actually care what the color scheme is, but we just want to make sure that they are not solely focused on the dimensions of the toothbrush, which is where hidden assumptions can end up causing the downfall of a project like this. So what you'll do is you'll then display a slide that looks like this, that has the average size of male and female adults, as well as children's hands and the average size of a normal toothbrush that's on the market. Then you'll give your students 3 minutes to go and design their toothbrush, after which you'll ask your students, in your teams, how many of your toothbrushes were larger or smaller than an adult's toothbrush? So you'll have your teams raise their hand if they made a larger toothbrush design, or raise their hand if they made a smaller toothbrush design. And the overwhelming majority, if not all of your teams, will end up making a smaller toothbrush for kids than they would for adults, which is a natural and very logical assumption because kids have smaller hands. Then you're going to show the students a video from one of the founders of IDEO. And IDEO is one of the organizations that created design thinking, which we now use pretty extensively in a lot of the modern entrepreneurial techniques we use. So you're going to play a video. The clip is a little longer, but I'm just going to show you an excerpt of it.
The assumption always was parents have big hands, kids have small hands, and so when you want to make the kids' version, make it like the parents' brush, only smaller and skinnier. Perfectly logical until you go out in the field, until you actually watch humans, little tiny humans, brushing their teeth. And what you notice right away, you get a 5-year-old boy brushing his teeth, he's not holding his toothbrush in his fingertips the way mom and dad do. He's fisting it. He's holding it like this because he doesn't have the dexterity. He doesn't have the fine motor controls that his parents have, and so he's got to hold it like this. In fact, the other thing he does is he holds the brush too far up very frequently, and so he's punching himself in the face as he's trying to brush his teeth, and we solved that problem too. But the main thing was, came back in the field and said, uh-oh, kids don't need little skinny toothbrushes. Kids need big fat toothbrushes, right? Let's make them big fat squishy toothbrushes. And you may have noticed now every toothbrush company in the world makes these.
So you'll show that to your students, and then you get to reflect on the hidden assumptions that they made and many other toothbrush manufacturers have made over the years. So we like this exercise because it's fast, it's fun, it's engaging, and it's a very flexible experience. You can use it to introduce all sorts of different topics. So, for example, if you want to talk about why most companies fail, you can talk about how easy it is to make hidden assumptions about products that customers don't want or don't need or work incorrectly. You can also talk about the difference between business plan and business experiment. So if you are juxtaposing like why you're not going to be writing a 50-page business plan in your class and instead we'll be running experiments, this is a great way to introduce that concept, the concept of experiments. It's also a great way to talk about the business model canvas. So if you want to demonstrate to students that, hey, in this canvas, we're going to be writing down all of the assumptions that we need to go out and test, this is a great way for them to understand, like, oh, we need to test the actual dimensions of our toothbrush and the design and the cost and customer segments, etc. So that is the Toothbrush Design Challenge from TeachingEntrepreneurship.org. If you have any questions about it, please let us know.